Imagine that you were born with a unique gift. You are able to see strange things that other people don't even know exist. You can see demons and angels on Earth. You also have the ability to send demons back to hell. But what would you do with this gift? How would you act? Hey guys, this is Afraid, and you are watching Constantine. Let's get into it. We are in Mexico, in the ruins of a church. A street sweeper named Manuel finds a spearhead wrapped in a Nazi flag. The story tells that the spearhead has been missing since the end of World War II. As soon as he picks up the spear, Manuel is possessed by a malevolent entity and sets out on a journey to Los Angeles. As soon as he starts walking, Manuel is brutally hit by a car. The car was in pieces. Manuel, on the other hand, apparently looks healthy and alive. Without a single scratch, he continues his long walk. In Los Angeles, a girl possessed by a demon terrifies her mother by walking on the ceiling upside down. The horrified mother decides to call the only one who could solve the matter, John Constantine. John Constantine is an oculist who was born with a special gift. He is able to see creatures such as demons and angels on Earth. He has developed the ability to exorcise possessed people and condemn the creatures he sees. He is known for his ability to send demons back to hell. The case of the possessed girl was one of many in Constantine. He arrived accompanied by his apprentice, Chaz Kramer, a young boy who wanted to be like Constantine. Before getting out of the car, he threw the half-smoked cigarette and walked toward the apartment. When he arrived in the girl's room, he put down the cigarette and began the exorcism. He put an amulet on the forehead of the possessed girl, after which she began to shake. In a short time, the girl stopped shaking but did not wake up. When Constantine moved closer to the girl, a creature tried to come out of the girl's body through the throat. But to no avail, because Constantine stopped him with a jab. Constantine realized that in fact, the demon wanted to get out of the girl's body and enter the earth. He immediately asked for a mirror at least 3 feet high to trap the demon. Constantine ordered everyone to keep their eyes closed, but one man could not resist the temptation and took a look. Suddenly, his hair turned white as if he had aged 25 years in a few seconds. Once the demon saw his reflection, he was trapped in the mirror. At that point, Constantine threw the mirror out the window and it broke into 1,000 pieces, falling on Chaz's car. Outside the room, Constantine saw on the wall a drawing of the spearhead we saw at the beginning of the movie. He knew exactly what it was. It was the Spear of Destiny. According to legend, the Spear of Destiny is the spear that Jesus was allegedly pierced in the side with after being crucified. In a church in Los Angeles, we meet Angela Dodson, who is there to confess. Angela is a brave detective who has a gift she's been trying to avoid since childhood. One night, she had a terrifying nightmare. She dreamed of jumping off the roof of a psychiatric institution by falling into a pool. The next day, Angela finds out that her twin sister, Isabel, had committed suicide. Exactly, the night before Angela had a dream about how her sister had committed suicide. But she didn't want to accept the fact that her sister had committed suicide. There was more she has yet to find out. On the same day, Angela first met Constantine. Angela, wanting to get into the elevator that was about to close, asked Constantine if he was going underneath. Question to which Constantine answered, no, if he could avoid it, ironically. By underneath, Constantine meant hell. You see, Constantine is diagnosed with lung cancer because he smokes 30 cigarettes a day since the age of 15, so he didn't have too much time left. He already knows he has to go to hell because at 15 he committed suicide, but woke up after 2 minutes. Suicide is a sin that is considered unforgivable, so whoever does it goes directly to hell. The next scene shows us Manuel continuing his walk towards Los Angeles. He is walking with the Spear of Destiny in his hand near a pasture of cows. As he gets closer to them, the cows suddenly die. In truth, Manuel is nothing more than a sort of courier possessed by an evil spirit. He has only one mission: to transport the spear to Los Angeles. A man named Beeman comes to Constantine's apartment for a visit. Not just a visit, he brought him tools to fight demons. Beeman has this nickname because he is a fan of insects. Constantine tells Beeman about how that demon tried to enter the Earth, but Beeman considers this highly unlikely and promises Constantine to do more research. After a case involving a full-fledged demon trying to break onto the Earth, Constantine seeks an audience with the androgynous half-breed angel, Gabriel. He asks Gabriel for a reprieve from death so that he can continue fighting demons, which Gabriel declines. Constantine is told that his exorcisms will not gain him a reprieve from hell because his motives are selfish. In the street, while raining, Constantine is attacked by a demon formed of insects. Going to the middle of the street, Constantine manages to defeat the demon, which is hit by a van. In the meantime, Angela reviewed the camera recordings of her sister committing suicide. Before jumping, Isabel turned to the camera and spoke Constantine's name, but only Angela was able to hear it. After that, all the phones in Angela's room began to call continuously. Constantine escapes the attack of a demon and decides to consult with Papa Midnight, a wizard who owns a place that serves as a neutral territory and a refuge for the androgynous half-breed. A spectacular scene follows, with perfect background music inside the club. Demons and angels spend time together. We can recognize the demons by their red eyes and the angels by their yellow eyes. Constantine asked Papa Midnight to use the chair. The chair is an old electric chair from Sing Sing prison that had killed over 200 inmates. This chair would show Constantine a decisive insight. Papa Midnight, however, himself neutral, refuses to help him so as to not upset the balance, and Constantine leaves after an argument with the half-demon Balthazar. Constantine has another visitor, but this time it's not the insect enthusiast. It's Detective Angela. She knows what Constantine is about and wants to ask him for help. But Constantine, being in a bad mood, continues with ironic phrases and shows no empathy for Angela's situation. Once Angela was out the door, Constantine observed dozens of volatile creatures outside and immediately went out to accompany Angela, knowing that she would be in danger. After a brief discussion about God and the devil, the lights on the road began to go out. Immediately afterward, he told Angela to close her eyes and set fire to a talisman, creating a sort of divine light. This light carbonized and destroyed the demons in milliseconds. But weren't demons in hell? Actually, the demons should be in hell and the angels in heaven, but a prophecy is about to happen. He who possesses the Spear of Destiny holds the fate of the world in his hands. Constantine realizes that Angela can see demons exactly like him and decides to help her to find out if her sister had really committed suicide, and if so, why. As you already know, if a person commits suicide, they are condemned to hell. So Constantine wants to verify if Isabel is in hell. To do this, he dips his feet in the water, with Isabel's cat in his hand. After Angela leaves Constantine alone in the apartment with the cat, after a few moments, Constantine wakes up in hell. Hell is represented as the city of Los Angeles covered by a storm of sand and junk. All around is burning, and everywhere there are demons. Constantine is briefly transported to hell, and among the damned, he finds Isabel, condemned for eternity to relive her own suicide. Isabel left the bracelet, with which she was identified in the institution. Constantine barely managed to take the bracelet, almost captured by the demons, and returned to Earth. He returned from hell and realized that Angela and Isabel were twins and showed Angela the bracelet. Meanwhile, Constantine's friend, psychic Father Hennessy, inspects Isabel's body and discovers a satanic mark. Soon after, Hennessy is induced to commit suicide by an evil force that drives him to drink himself to death. Apparently, it looks like the alcohol from the bottle can't be drunk. but it was just an illusion done by Balthazar. Hennessy realized that nothing could save him anymore and decided to leave a sign for Constantine. He strikes the palm of his hand so he can represent the satanic sign he saw earlier. In the meantime, Constantine was eating with Angela and told her about his childhood. He told her how he had committed suicide for the first time because he saw things that no one else could see, and he was considered crazy for it. But when Constantine spent 2 minutes in hell after his death, he returned to Earth. That is, between hell and heaven. Constantine also talks about the so-called half-breeds. That is, half-demons or half-angels who are present on Earth. Constantine has the ability to send half-breeds who break the rules to hell, just as Blade did with vampires. He does it mainly for one thing, to secure his place in paradise. Imagine that you were sentenced to a prison where half the inmates were put there by you. It's Constantine's exact situation. He's convicted of suicide at the age of 15, and he's trying to secure his place in heaven by deporting to hell those who deserve it. At the request of the exorcist, the demonologist Beeman investigates the symbol found by Father Hennessy and discovers that it is the mark of Mammon, the son of Lucifer. Mammon intends to reach the earthly dimension to make it his own kingdom. But to succeed, he must possess a psychic and therefore obtain divine help. The chosen host was Isabel herself, who killed herself in an attempt to stop Mammon. And now, the demon wants to incarnate himself in Angela's body. Beeman is murdered by the same entity that killed Father Hennessy. A fly comes out of Beeman's eye, after which he is found by Constantine and Angela fully covered in flies. Angela confessed to Constantine that as a child, she too saw demonic creatures, but pretended not to. Thanks to Angela's information, Constantine guesses that Isabel was a psychic and that Angela herself possesses latent powers. To help her awaken them, Constantine gives her a near-death experience. Constantine tortures Balthazar to force him to reveal what divine help Mammon intends to use, and to make him talk, he threatens to send him to heaven. Balthazar, cornered, confesses to the murders and reveals that the aid in question is the Spear of Destiny, with which Angela is to be killed while possessed by Mammon. Soon after, Angela is kidnapped by a mysterious force and taken to the place where the prophecy would be fulfilled. Constantine at this point asks Pope Midnight for help. Papa Midnight, following the violations of the balance committed by Balthazar, decides to take sides and helps Constantine by providing him with sacred weapons and letting him using the chair. Using the chair, Constantine can see the scene where Manuel found the Spear of Destiny and his entire journey to Los Angeles. In addition, Constantine saw that Manuel would head to the pool where Isabel died. At that point, preparing his weapons, he heads to the clinic along with Chaz. In the meantime, Manuel came out of the water and walked towards Angela. Angela started shooting. The bullets pierced Manuel, but didn't stop him for a second. Manuel hits Angela's gun with the Spear of Destiny and pulled Angela under the water. With Papa Midnight's weapon and gold bullets, he began to chop up demons. Meanwhile, Manuel, still possessed, killed Angela by choking her underwater. Arriving in hell, Mammon took possession of Angela's soul and Manuel died. Constantine, aided by young assistant and apprentice Chaz Kramer, confronts Mammon, but the demon is too powerful. Mammon tried to get out through Angela's belly, but is held back by Constantine. After Angela seemed to calm down, Mammon killed Chaz by hitting him over and over again from the floor and the ceiling. After this scene, Constantine apparently had an ace up his hole. He rolled up his sleeves and joined his forearms to form the perfect Red King. The tattoo on Constantine's arms is the alchemical symbol of the Red King, which was worn by him for protection. It is the triangle of fire with 3 radiating arrows below represents the perfect Red King. This was used to bring light to any hidden ethereal conspirators that might be lurking or avoiding detection. As if that weren't enough, Gabriel intervenes, who turns out to be the real mastermind behind Mammon and Balthazar's actions. The angel, in fact, believes that mankind must show itself worthy of God's love, and will only be able to do so by surviving the horrors that Mammon will unleash on Earth. Gabriel knocks out Constantine and is about to pierce Angela with the Spear of Destiny. Constantine then decides to commit suicide by slitting his wrist to draw the attention of Lucifer, knowing full well that he is the only soul that the devil would personally withdraw. When Gabriel was about to release Mammon, Constantine died and time stopped. Lucifer, as expected, arrived at the clinic. But strangely, he came down through the ceiling in a white costume. Lucifer still doesn't know about Mammon's plan and doesn't believe Constantine's words, but he decides to check it out. Seeing Gabriel with the Spear of Fate in his hand, he moved Angela with one arm and Gabriel hit the floor. Gabriel tried to hit Lucifer, but lost all divine protection because of his misdeeds and is deprived of his wings, becoming human. The devil decides to return the favor to Constantine by giving him a few more years of life. But Constantine declines and instead asks that Isabel's soul should be allowed to go to heaven. Lucifer satisfies him and prepares to take him to hell. But at that point, Constantine, finally redeemed thanks to his sacrifice, is allowed to go to heaven. Lucifer, furious for the mockery, to prevent it, brings Constantine back to life by curing him of cancer, in the hope of inducing him to ruin and damn himself once again. Constantine observes that Gabriel has become human, but gives up revenge on him, proving that he has become better. Instead, Constantine, to make Gabriel feel the pain, threw a right punch at him. Sometime later, Constantine meets Angela and entrusts her with the Spear of Destiny to hide. In a scene after the credits, Constantine visits Chaz's grave and lays his lighter on the tombstone. As he walks away, Constantine sees the soul of Chaz, who has become an angel, flying to heaven. So to really understand what happened here, let me explain. Mammon, the son of Lucifer, wanted to take possession of the earth. To do this, he needed a human being with the gift of Isabel or Angela and Gabriel, who was a holy angel. Gabriel's permission was the decisive step. Although Isabel committed suicide, she did so to prevent Mammon from using her to cross over to the Earth plane. Therefore, her suicide could be considered self-sacrifice. At that point, Mammon needed Angela because she had the same gift as her twin sister. But in the end, he is stopped by his own father, Satan, and sent back to hell. My overall rating for this movie, on a scale of 1 to 10, would be a solid 8. Great performance by Keanu, and the ending is not predictable at all, so it was a hoot. We all expected Constantine to go to heaven, didn't we? How much would you rate this movie? Let me know down in the comments, and tell me which movie you would like to see next. And if you enjoyed this video, press that like button and subscribe to not miss horror movies like this one. And as always, stay afraid.